We are learning more about the officer arrested in Kingsland, Georgia after shooting and killing a man last week. Zechariah Presley was on the force for about a year, and First Coast News learned of a previous complaint. Our Alex Ositis is in Kingsland, where he'll face those charges.
This is that courthouse where Zechariah Presley will face charges on Friday. He's charged with voluntary manslaughter and violation of the oath of office. This is after the death of Tony Green. A family meeting with the DA on Wednesday, also saying that the GBI is continuing to review body camera footage. Now, we spoke with a pastor in Woodbine, a community leader who says that he's somewhat eased by the swift arrest, but still the concern remains.
I believe that the community can have a sense of peace knowing that this officer is off the street and the system is going in the right direction to have justice for Tony Green.
Before that court appearance on Friday, Tony Green's family is set to hold a press conference in Kingsland. We're reporting in Camden County. Alex Ositis, First Coast News, on your side.